you hear that? It's the sound of spring, isn't it? It's birds chipping. You can sit outside in a t-shirt. It might be my second favorite sound this time of year. My favorite one is, of course, right over here. It's that one, you know, puts a smile on my face every time. As some of you know, I do have a house here in Sweden. It's my summer house, and I'm here right now. It's Easter time. I have some time off. And it's pretty close to the main TET line from here in Sweden. The section 1 to be more specific, which goes from Copenhagen to Hestra. And I think I must have ridden that TET route at least 50 times. And as time kind of goes, of course, the excitement wears off a little bit. But what happened is that in November last year, the Swedish TET got updated massively. So it went from 6 long sections to now in total 20 sections. And I haven't ridden any of the new stuff. I've ridden everything between Copenhagen, Denmark and Oslo in Norway. But now there's such a big variety of small loops going around. It's going to close in towards Stockholm, and they all start out from north of Vättern and Vänern, which are the 2 lakes that are in here in Sweden. So I thought, it's springtime and I actually do have some time on my hands. So let's go check it out. Let's see what the new sections are. Let's see what the new 20 different versions of TET can be. Obviously, it's a very long route. I'm not going to be able to drive much of it. I have like 2 or 3 days, depending on the weather, how much I want to spend on it. But weather right now is nice. It's been shifting a lot between sunshine, then cloudy, then a bit of rain, but mostly it's been warm enough to stay comfortable in a t-shirt. And it hasn't been raining a ton, so I'm reckoning that the tracks are going to be fairly dry. It's going to be fairly easy going. And I'm interested, I'm really excited actually to see what these new tracks can bring. So tonight, I'm going to ride from here, my summer house, 3 hours north up to Laxå, where the different routes actually start off from. And I'm going to see how far I can take it. It's spring. Spring is back and it's time to get out and ride. And it's I built this, what feels like a new bike, but it's still my good old bike. And I cannot wait to have a few days, just me and this, cruising around. I am at a hotel quite near Laxå, where I'm going to start riding the TET tomorrow. I went from my summer house, which is somewhere around 300 kilometers south of here. Had a nice little burger at Burger King in the sunset by myself, which was lovely. And then I drove the last 20-30 minutes to get to the hotel where I am right now. I booked it online today on booking.com. It looked like a proper estate, like the pictures were beautiful, and this big huge estate looked very century old at least. And I don't think this is the perfect example of Instagram versus reality, because getting here I was like, nah, I can tell from the pictures that this is it, but what have they done to make it look like this? But it's basically barracks for Polish handymen that comes here and stays for a couple of months. There's no one here now, but apparently I spoke to the concierge. Apparently in next week there's going to be 50 new crew members coming here, staying here. But it's perfectly fine. There's a nice little electrical heater here. The concierge was even kind enough to give me a Coca-Cola Zero Cherry version. Beats being in a tent right now. Sweden in spring is still very, very cold. At night at least. During the day when the sun shines, you can easily get up to around 20 degrees. It feels quite warm, but as soon as the sun kind of goes away, it's back to these 8-9 degrees. One of my favorite areas of TET Sweden, at least of what I've ridden so far, was near Laxå, south of Laxå, on section 2. But I'm gonna try the different one tomorrow. I think it was section 13, this one, which kind of loops from Laxå and towards Stockholm, but kind of stops an hour before Stockholm, quite near a city called Eskilstuna. So that's where I'm aiming for tomorrow. 326 kilometers of tracks. We're going to see how it goes. I'm excited. I'm excited to get back out there. I'm excited to embrace the springtime riding again. It's going to be good. See you tomorrow. Good morning. What a morning. Weather in springtime can be kind of unpredictable, but this morning it's everything's going quite my way. Not a wind. There's a windmill over there. Doesn't move an inch. It's a bit chilly. There was a bit of frost on the seat this morning, but yeah, who can complain about that? I'll put up the heat a little bit in the electronic gloves. And now I'm setting off towards Laxå. It's going to be half an hour from here. Maybe get some breakfast. And then we kick off. First mini adventure of the season. It's off to a good start. How's the hair? How's the hair? It's Scandi Flick hair. It's not Scandi Flick hair, it's helmet hair. Look at that. Anyway, classic Swedish breakfast. Let's go enjoy that for a bit before we take off. Bought myself a bit of classical Swedish breakfast, I'm gonna sit here and enjoy the peace and quiet and the sunshine on this very first little 100 meters of the adventure. It's gonna make for great TV, isn't it?
The local enduro track in Laxå. Hang on, maybe I've been here before. On the big adventure in Sweden. Or at least there was an enduro track there as well. Obviously you need a license to drive there. You need an enduro license. You need a membership. And you need permission. But let's go check it out. Obviously I'm not going to drive the tracks. I want to see it. Välkommen till Truggamön, Laxå Motorclub Enduro. See if there's anybody home here. No. But what a cool place to have a track. How cool. First little stop. Lovely little spot this is. You know what? Let's yeah, why not? We've got sand. We've got some rocks to sit on here. Or a little bench over there. Let's do that one, and let's not do fourth gear. That's it. That's lunch. Lunch stop. I inhaled that lunch, I feel like. And I found myself a nice little comfy chair here to lean on and sit here for 5 minutes. Which gives me the opportunity to do a little sit rep. It's mainly been public high roads, main roads, You see these little signs called M, with signs on the side of the road with an M on it, which means mötepunkt, I think, meeting point. That kind of marks it as like a public transport road. There's been a few little sections where it varies a little bit in elevation. There's a little bit of tiny bit of whoops and jumps and stuff, but I haven't found anything that I couldn't ride at least 30 kilometers an hour on. And that's the one thing that I miss about TET Sweden. It's the more technical bits on it. But I get why it's not there. It's difficult to find roads that are legal to ride here. Having said that, I think it could be updated a little bit, so you get a little bit more of those tiny little sections. What is very, very nice about TET Sweden is if you're a rookie and you want to go out and find some gravel and get your feet wet and without jumping head on into the pool, it's the perfect training ground for riding gravel. And you get to see a lot of places where I don't know why I would have otherwise come here. It's a fantastic little solitary peace of mind you can find here. Just some music on the cardo and enjoying the nature while riding. It's time to pack up soon and get on with the remaining 200 kilometers for today. Literally just said to myself, let's do an hour without any filming, just crunch some miles, and then this turns up. Hard work it is to stop and put up the camera, put up the drone, ride a few rounds, change the battery, film all this stuff, pack down again, and now it's 22 degrees and I'm wearing basically a winter outfit. It's time to crack on for at least an hour without getting tempted to stop. So hey Cardo, music on. Let's go. These tracks here are around 160 kilometers. Absolutely amazing. Without a doubt, the best so far on this TET. Without a doubt. Gravel. Such a weird feeling sometimes being on this kind of gravel. All you have to do is let the bike be loose underneath you, let it bounce around a little bit and correct itself from velocity, and power through it, just like with sand actually. Speed is your friend. Oh, what is that little fella? What is that? Hello? Oh, oh my god. Tiny badger. These last 20 kilometers has probably saved everything I feel about this TET. It's beautiful. It's not challenging, but it's still gives you workout, and it's lots of variation, which is nice. I'm gonna shut up now. We need to finish this section before sunset, so
do I look tired yet? I'm starting to feel a little bit tired now. I decided to take a little rest here. There is exactly 82 kilometers left, so quite a bit, to be honest. I've done 266 kilometers. And I stopped for fuel maybe half an hour ago, just tanked up, got some fuel for the bike. Got a little bit of fuel for myself. Biltema. So I'm looking at options on when the actual route ends, where do I stay? Where do I find a hotel? I'll figure that out when I get there. But it's good to have a little bit of an idea about where's there any option, because obviously there's not many options right here. So you got to find a fitting place on the map. But I have to say the route has been really, really good. There's been some really good sections. There's also been some quite boring sections. But it's planned out super well. It's planned out that whenever I started to run out of fuel, there was 1 or 2 fuel stops within 30 kilometers. Whenever I got hungry this morning, there was suddenly at lunch. There was 2 lunch stops, like within half an hour as well. Really nicely planned out. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think they kind of plan the route and circle when they can see, okay, people have been driving for maybe 200 kilometers now, maybe it's a good time to add a fuel stop somewhere. But so far so good. I said that many times today, haven't I? So far so good. How's the hair? How's the hair? Anyway. Getting a little tired, so let's crack on. It's now exactly 5 o'clock. I can't remember if I said that already. 5 o'clock. 82 kilometers left. Should take 2 hours. 7 o'clock. 45 minutes till sunset. Seems about right. Yeah, let's crack on. In a minute. Entered probably my favorite hours during the riding day, the sunset hours. It's 5:30 now here approximately, and the sun sets around 8. The sun is now already taken its sweet old time to actually set. I just love the light when you're riding in the sunset. So why don't I just put on a little music, and oh, there was a couple of Bambis in there. Disappear like out of the blue. But why don't I put on some music and finish these last 60 kilometers of the ride. Hey Kato, music on. And so we're here. It took exactly 10 hours, more or less, 10 minutes plus minus. And the end of section 13 is this amazing little campsite down by a river, down by a lake. The bike is parked a little bit further up. There's some teenagers in their tractor cars and their caravan having a party. But what an amazing spot this would have been for camping. Too bad I didn't bring a tent. Too bad I didn't bring a sleeping bag. I don't know what the teenagers would have felt for me crashing their party, but this is a fantastic spot actually to end the trip. But it is the end of this trip, and I'm going to recap on that later, because the sun is setting and I need to figure out where I'm going to stay tonight. But this was section 13, all of it basically. Yeah, perfect day really. Perfect sunset, and what an amazing spot to end up here. This is definitely a must do if you're riding TET section 13. Camp here where this is. Just maybe hope for not having a bunch of teenagers crashing your tent. Time for some diary cam. And it's been a really good ride. Less technical than I hoped for. I mean, the technical sections were very short and very few. Something that I think within reasonable kind of time could be improved a little bit. I think there's plenty of tracks to choose from in the area that are perfectly legal, which would make it a little bit more interesting. But there was some really, really good parts of it. And it's a really good transport road if you want to see Sweden, if you want to travel through Sweden, especially if you want to maybe just not do the very long one that goes towards Finland. I know one of my good riding friends, Ingvar, he drove almost, I think, 900 kilometers one day on TET Sweden. Once you go really far towards Finland, the roads are very flat and very long, and just keeps going on and on and on. This was a scenic tour of this part of Sweden. And the other route, which I forgot which number it is because now there's 20 of them, starts from exactly that little camping area down by the lake that this section 13 ended up. So for tomorrow, hopefully the weather's gonna stay pretty decent. They promised a lot of rain yesterday when I looked. It seems like they pulled it back a little bit, so hopefully I'll stay dry tomorrow. But the plan is to go on the same section, start from that, and then follow that new section that kind of loops north and then starts to go west again. It's been a while since I did a solo trip. and it's I forgot how much I like that sense of freedom when you go on that solo trip. There's so many parts today where I can just have some music on the cardo and just really flow with the trails, and it's a great sense of freedom, and as long as you know how to lift your bike, as long as you know how to fix a tire if you have to, everything else can sort of be, you don't necessarily have to be a mechanic to do everything yourself. Some things you just have to leave to the AA if it's necessary, call someone, and you're never really out of reach. I haven't been out of cell phone reach today, I think. So definitely recommendable, this track. And you will not find super tricky riding here. There's been one tiny little bit of single track today. Single track is actually not allowed in Sweden. The rule is that you have to be able to fit a car on the track. But there was one little two track that kind of turned into a single track, looped out of a lake. Other very few short sections that was technical. And then once in a while there just came these gold nuggets of long, beautiful trails full of variation, up and down, and less even terrain than the hardpack gravel. All in all, good day. Looking forward for another one tomorrow. I think it's time for me to go sleep. Good morning. What a surprise to wake up actually to sunshine and not rain. The forecaster said rain all day. Maybe it's further west, but right now it's sunny. It's a beautiful morning. I didn't film a takeoff shot from Johan's place. I didn't want to wake up his family. Still pretty early. And right now I'm at well, not the beginning. The beginning is where I ended up yesterday, but that's like 5 minutes away from here. So I did whatever track I haven't done yet. Started off here, which is here. Going that way behind me. And yeah, another long day. It's going to be TET section 20 here to begin with. I'm not going to drive all of it because I'm going to switch over to another TET section that's going to take me further west. Right now it's basically going north. Another great day, hopefully. No crashes so far, no tumbles, no obstacles. Maybe let's have a little bit of obstacles, should we? Let's try. I actually thought this beginning yesterday when I drove past here, I saw there was a little tractor track going up the hill from the main road, which is right down here. I actually thought that was the one I was up, but to my disappointment, it was another hidden road just behind it. Would have been nice to start off the day with a bit of technical stuff, but we're ready to go. Let's crack on. It's going to be another long day.
We are off. I actually had my overnight stay 20 minutes north of here, so we're basically in the same direction that I'm going. So it would have been easier to start the track a little further up to where the cabin was. But I hate to miss out on things. What if this was the best part? What if this was what I really like to find on a TET, those small little technical sections. I hate missing out. I'm always scared that I'm going to miss the best parts. So here we are at the beginning of section 20. And I've written all of it. But let's crack on. It's 8 AM. I'll put on some music. Get us going. Hey Kato, music on. I nearly missed this because it goes so close to this road up here. Oh, looks like I'm gonna get in some trouble here, don't I? Nope, I don't think I am. First wet feet of the trip. This looks interesting. Let's have a little test. I think it's going to be fine. I don't think it's going to be that deep. But let's check it out. I think it's all going to be good. It's not that deep, as the kids say. Let's give this a try. Second gear. Come on, little bike. And stand up for traction. Yeah, this is all good. It's very even. A little bit slipping and sliding around, but that's how it is. And I've got a friend here. Tjena, tjena! Hej du! Ja, det är typ så här, tycker jag. Ja. Alltså om du tar kanten helt ut där, så går det bättre. Jag ska gå med dig för jag har kamera och jag filmar på andra sidan. That was fun. I walked back across to pick up the camera because why not? And I can't be bothered taking off the helmet because I've scratched the side of my head taking on and off the helmet so many times yesterday. Really happy that I got the waterproof version of the Tech 7. I can't remember, Dry Star maybe that's what it's called. Because otherwise this would have been hell. It hasn't been raining, from the best of my knowledge, a lot recently. Actually, it's been one of the most dry early spring seasons. So I'm a bit surprised that there's much water here. So if you're riding here and it's been raining a lot, you might want to definitely check the depth before you go here. But this is why you don't skip parts. This is why you do all of it. I've gone further after the wet section, and that's exactly why you don't skip sections if you want to try out something. I would have hated to missed out on that one, and I would have missed it if I had started the route a little bit further up. It would have been easier to go a bit faster than I did, but I didn't want to put up a big bow wave and completely drench myself from the beginning of the morning. Yes, what kind of spirit is that? No mud, no fun, as my friend Ingvar always says. But anyway, let's see what rest of the morning will bring. I'm gonna start crunching some miles and we'll see how far again I'll go before I have to stop, before something eventful pops up. But now I will put on some music. Hey Kato, music on.
I'm at a crossroad. I've driven 125 kilometers of TET section 20. And TET section 20 continues to the right, down that way. But now there's another TET section going west if I turn left. And I've decided to go left to try out number 17 for a bit, which goes quite straightforward west. And then it loops north at some point. But before it loops north, I'm going to go into even another TET section, which I think is called 19. That's going to go take me south again to back actually where I started more or less yesterday. I'm going to crack on and head to the left of TET section. I'm all confused about now, but I think it was 17. Let's try 17. It's not an easy job packing a roll of kebab down this size in a Krieger bag. I sat down for some lunch. I'm gonna spare you eating on camera today. Nobody wants to see that. I'm on TET section 17. I think 7 kilometers in, I passed a little town, so I filled up with gas. I got myself some lunch. On section 20, I would say that's probably my least favorite TET section that I've ever ridden here in Sweden. It had a really, really nice little beginning, and especially if you start all the way from the campsite where I ended up on the section yesterday. At that beautiful little campsite, if you start there and then you go up through the forest and end up in Strangnes, from there on out, up to where I ended up, is the nice parts of it. Kind of has that feel that if you blink, you miss it. There was a few little gold nuggets lugged in there once in a while, a couple of single tracks, but overall, it's a route for transport and not for going out for a day of fun and riding. And I'm gonna enjoy some lunch now, get my energy back up, and then continue on TET section 17.
little bridge. I'm wondering if I might be running out of sun. Seems like I'm driving further and further west. Clouds are becoming a little bit thicker. And it's 19 degrees. It's grey weather, but it's 19 degrees. The wind is so... oh, it's not cold at all. It's not even in the sun. It's just fantastic. If I don't see the sun again, it's been nice having you as a travel partner for the last day and a half. I was literally thinking to myself when I drove here, a little bit more of this stuff please, and a little bit less of that stuff. And I just assumed that the road was going to go up there, but it doesn't. It goes through this. Tractor tracks, my favorite. So let's give that a try, shall we? Someone else has been here. Cross lines between section 17 and 19. I'm at another crossroad. Behind me, that way, section 17, and that continues to go down that way. But to the left, we have section 19. I'm fucking up in these sections. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's section 19. I just saw it's 191 kilometers and it's 2:30. And I'm a little bit sleep then. So why don't we skip the taking off shot this time? Let's pretend that now I film that I jump on the bike, put on my helmet and drive down that way. We've seen that enough already, haven't we? I think we have. Section 17 is done for me. I'm not going to head further north. I just realized that I'm further north than Stockholm right now still. I'm actually almost at the same altitude as Oslo. And there's mosquitoes here. Same altitude as Oslo. That's a
big ride home, isn't it? So let's crack on with it and we'll see how far we get. Section 17, really nice. The last 20-30 kilometers has been really fun. Before that, mostly transport with some little gold nuggets in between, but yeah, all good. Good ride. And it's still dry. It's not sunny, but it's dry and it's warm. And what more could you wish for? All right, let's try it out. Section 19. Okay, that was the last 20 minutes has been, yeah, everything that I've lacked a little bit the rest of the day on section 20 and 17. Beautiful tall forest roads. When I say tall, I mean with lots of elevation. Beautiful views when you're on top of it. You can kind of look out and see how elevated the landscape is. And there's just been these small little playful routes everywhere. The last little stretch that I drove was full of small little whoops. Awesome little, beautiful little track. Don't overcook it, because sometimes the whoops are really deep and you'll just get thrown off. Speaking of whoops, beautiful. I'm still riding whoops after, I don't know, 20 something kilometers, 10 at least. 10 at least. Whew. I really got the temperature up. It's also 17 degrees, but I mean, come on. I don't know who built this, but this is amazing. I cannot believe it. Just every time I think, oh, now it's going to end, it just keeps going on and on and on. Must be like a local, I don't know, ATV track or something. It's absolutely a tourist attraction, I have to say. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this being on the TET. I want to keep that to myself. I don't want it to get closed off. It was certainly fun. It was certainly fun. I just stepped off the bike for a little bit here at this beautiful little lake here. Everything that the other two routes didn't really offer much of today has been on this one in plenty. Beautiful mountainous almost area in the beginning of it, with really stunning views across when you were driving on top of it and looking down on the forest. And it's massive forest area more than it's farm country, which always makes for better tracks. All in all, it's just amazing to be out here in the spring and enjoying the weather and enjoying these new TET tracks. It's always fun to try something new. So now I'm just going to sit here for a couple of minutes and get a little bit of energy back before I push on with the last 100 kilometers or so. I actually just stopped at this lake because I like the view, but I actually missed a turn here. I was too busy enjoying the view. So let's get back on track and let's move on. Oh, there it is. Oh, he's a good friend of mine, whoever did this route. Putting in these small little playful sections
what it makes it all worth it. Awesome little hill climb. Yeehaw! Can't believe I almost missed this. It can still change, but this section 19 is already probably my favorite part of TET that I've ever ridden here in Sweden. It's absolutely epic. Bilväg. So we're crossing back to the other road, but what a little piece of absolutely marvelous section, this section 19. I love the transport of TET to get to see and experience stuff, and I love it even more when it gets cut down and you get these small breaks with fun little tracks like that. Amazing. Crack on. Let's crack on. I don't really have time for it, but this almost deserves a shot with a good camera, doesn't it? Of course you got time for it, Daniel. You got lights on your bike, don't you?
It is getting dark. Well, it's not getting dark yet, but sun is almost setting behind me. Probably overlit a little bit, but it's almost the end. Down at the end of this road, I'm taking a right turn, and then I should be almost at the end of section 19. What an absolute killer day this has been. I haven't even counted how many kilometers I've did, but it's a lot, and I'm very hungry and I'm very tired, so I'm gonna crack on with it. I just stopped here to film the sunset for a brief second, because once I'm done, it's gonna be probably almost dark, and on my mind will be food and finding some place to sleep.
What a nice view. What an absolutely epic place. Third gear will do fine. Let's go. To the end. The sunset. Oh, I think we're inching up on the meeting point. That was it. 7:46. Sun hasn't set completely. Look at that. That was epic. Let me go down in here into the sunlight. Everything is on fire. sun is setting really, really quickly now. By the time I got the camera out, I just managed to get the last bit of rays. Bike was all filled up with the golden sunlight. I have no idea where I am. I just know that this is the end of section 19 and I need to find some food now. I need to find a place to sleep. And the ride is basically over. The TET ride, that is. I mean, technically I'm on section 2 right now, but this doesn't count. I'm done. That's it. No more. Let's recap later. Let me find some food and a place to sleep. Last little video diary from this tour. It's been 2 days and you're not having a deja vu. It's the same hotel room. I'm in the same room, same hotel, a little bit south of Askersund. I've done 745 kilometers of TET in 2 days. So yesterday was 326 and today has been 419 kilometers of TET. It's been a long day. It's been a long couple of days. I'm really tired. Would have loved to do some more film from today, but it was a matter of either filming or actually finishing the TET route. But it's been an amazing few days. The weather has been absolutely brilliant compared to the fact that it's Scandinavian in the springtime. It can be anything. It's been super warm today, even though it hasn't been very sunny. I mean, 19, 20 degrees almost in an overcast weather is crazy for Sweden in kind of mid-April. Yeah, mid-April, April 16th. It's usually quite a lot colder. But conditions have been great. Not a single drop of rain. Tracks have been amazing in condition. And it's fantastic to be out again riding the bike and enjoying the springtime and getting to see new parts of Sweden that I haven't seen before. And now I think it's time to get some rest before I have to drive the last 300 kilometers south tomorrow morning back to my house in Sweden, where I hopefully will try and find some way to wrap this up. Good night. I'm back here at my own little house, my own little corner and slice of land of this magnificent country that I've been riding for the past few days. And I thought this would be a fitting place to kind of wrap up this video. Primarily this film has been about the new TET sections and my experience of riding them. But hopefully you'll get the feeling of this is also a video about that first new adventure of the season. Winter is quite long here in Scandinavia and I've been craving to go out and ride, and it's just a magnificent time of year when spring comes. Trees are starting to bloom out and birds are chirping and the days get longer, and it's just a fantastic feeling getting that bike ready and going out on that first adventure. And I'm hoping that it kind of shines through a bit in this video as well. But it has primarily been about riding the TET routes. And to wrap that up, when I first heard about the new TET sections coming out, I was super excited. First of all, it's a huge country. There's 250,000 kilometers of gravel roads here. And even though the TET already was quite long, now it's even longer, and it's been spread out throughout a bigger size of the country. And first of all, that's good news because Sweden is on the bucket list of many ADV riders.
It's close to Germany, it's close to Denmark, where I'm from, it's close to the Baltic countries, it's also close to Norway, which has very limited off-road riding, even though it has amazing views. But in that sense, now with the more routes added, we have a chance to be spread out a little bit more. The TET line was very narrow through such a big country, and so many people were riding it. And even though I haven't experienced a big cluster of people on the TET, I hear rumors about that there's been up to 50, 60 people passing up through Mangwood Inn sometimes during summer. And what these new routes offer the opportunity is that maybe it will create less of an irritation for the people that are living close to the TET, and hereby being more conservatory of the TET and the principles of the TET. The second reason why I was super excited about the new TET is I saw the opportunity for maybe adding something similar to Bosnia, where they have challenging sections, to spread it out through areas of the country that has more elevation and is more remote, and maybe there is. I've only tried a slice of it. I drove 745 kilometers, and I don't even know how long the new version is, but it's not even, I haven't even scratched the surface basically. But from my experience, this wasn't it. It was focused on transport, offering transport through different ports of the country and exploring different parts of the country. And that's what Trans-European Trail is all about, I guess. It's a Trans-European Trail that connects countries in Europe through the trails. And obviously not all of it can be interesting. And some of the new sections that I drove the last few days was absolutely fantastic. And that's where Trans-European Trail really, really shines, is when it manages to show you a country and transport you through these amazing tracks from one country to another, and at the same time putting a massive smile on your face because of the challenges you meet. And in that sense, for the new sections, job done for sure. And as I mentioned, this video has also been about that first new ride of the season. I did a more set up version of that last year as well. It started with a scene right over there by that rock over here. And to me, it's just such a special thing getting out for that first ride of the season. And I've only been riding for 3 years. Maybe it will dwell off a little bit over the years, who knows. But for me now, it still feels like Christmas whenever spring comes. It's that same joy and excitement that I felt in my body when I was a kid before Christmas Eve, as I do now in spring, to try and get out and find that first new adventure and getting the bike ready. And speaking of the bike, I love my T7. And it's the perfect bike for riding here in Scandinavia. It makes so much fun out of these primarily hard-packed gravel roads. And whenever there is a bit of challenging sections, the T7 makes it that little bit extra challenging compared to, let's say, the AJP. Now, I have been places where I really was wishing that I could swap it out for a lighter bike, for sure. But primarily for what I use it for, it's the absolutely perfect bike for Sweden. It's made for mile crunching on the hard-packed gravel roads. And when you do get to those tricky sections, it is still very, very capable of managing it, especially with the upgrades that I've made for it. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Please drop me a comment. It makes it all worth it to hear from you, all the work that goes into making these videos. See you in the next one.
And that's it.